In November, the bold and the beautiful plunges into a psychological war zone fueled by jealousy, manipulation, and obsession, with Sheila Carter at the center, ruthless, calculating, and more dangerous than ever. What starts as a fleeting moment between Deacon and Taylor spirals into a targeted campaign of destruction, orchestrated by a woman who refuses to be forgotten, dismissed, or replaced. For Sheila, seeing Deacon share even a spark of intimacy with Taylor isn't just an inconvenience. It's war. Sheila sees it. A moment. Nothing more than a conversation. But it's enough. Taylor leans in, brushes Deacon's arm, laughs too long. Deacon doesn't pull away. He looks at Taylor like he used to look at Sheila back when they were spinning their own twisted version of romance. And just like that, something snaps inside Sheila. Not rage, not grief, calculation. Taylor Hayes, the good doctor, the respected therapist, the Forrester-approved humanitarian, is now a threat. And threats don't get warnings. They get eradicated. Sheila moves fast. She begins by digging. Taylor's past is not squeaky clean. Mental health records, licensing board complaints, notes from therapy sessions that, if leaked, could look suspicious. All the things Taylor's worked years to overcome are suddenly in play. Sheila doesn't need them to be true, she just needs them to look real enough to raise doubt. With the help of a contact in the medical board archives, she begins compiling a shadow file, records doctored just enough to seem authentic, emails forged to implying negligence, client histories rewritten to suggest impropriety. She even plants rumors online, on anonymous forums, whisper networks within the therapeutic community. Slowly, whispers grow into accusations. Taylor Hayes has crossed boundaries with patients. Taylor Hayes has misdiagnosed. Taylor Hayes once had a breakdown herself, and it works. In private circles, Taylor starts getting side-eyed. At meetings, people lower their voices when she enters. A few clients cancel appointments without explanation. A speaking engagement is quietly pulled. At first, Taylor shrugs it off. Gossip is nothing new. But then the formal complaints begin arriving. Anonymous tips to the licensing board. A formal inquiry. Suddenly, she's being asked to provide full client histories for the past year. Her work is under the microscope, and she doesn't know why. Meanwhile, Sheila starts turning the screws on Deacon directly. She shows up uninvited first at Il Giardino, then at his apartment, smiling, soft-spoken, reminding him of their history, their passion, the way she stood by him when no one else would. Deacon brushes her off, tries to keep it civil. He tells her there's nothing going on with Taylor, that it was just a friendly moment. But Sheila doesn't want friendly. She wants possession, and if she can't have Deacon through affection, she get him through pressure. She hints at the trouble Taylor's facing, the complaints, the rumors. She lets Deacon know without saying it directly that she's connected. All she wants is a little honesty from him, a little gratitude, a little affection. Deacon is stunned. He realizes something is off, but he doesn't act fast enough, because Sheila is already 3 steps ahead. Next, she escalates. A leak reaches the press, excerpts from Taylor's private therapy sessions. Highly personal, selectively edited, context stripped away. They paint a picture of instability. One quote about past suicidal thoughts is splashed across tabloid headlines. Another about unresolved feelings for Ridge is twisted into a narrative that Taylor is obsessed and delusional. The Forresters scramble. Ridge tries to contain the fallout. Steffi is livid. Brooke surprisingly shows sympathy, but warns that this is going to stick. Taylor, publicly humiliated, is forced to take a leave of absence from her practice. Deacon, watching the woman he once respected be dragged through the mud, starts to piece it together. He confronts Sheila. At first, she plays innocent, but when he pushes, she drops the act. She tells him plainly she did it for them. Taylor is a distraction, a problem. Sheila removed the problem. Now it's just them again, like it was supposed to be. Deacon is horrified. He tells her it's over. He wants nothing to do with her. That she's sick, dangerous. That he'll go to the police if he has to. Sheila, calm and cold, smiles and tells him to think carefully. Because if she goes down, she makes sure Taylor's career is permanently destroyed. More leaks, more lies, maybe even an accident. And that's not just a threat. Soon after, Taylor is driving home late from a meeting with her lawyer, trying to repair her practice's reputation. The road is slick. Her brakes fail. She crashes. It's not fatal, but it's serious. A head injury, concussion, weeks of recovery. And when the police investigate the accident, they find evidence that the brake line was deliberately cut. It wasn't just mechanical failure. It was tampering. The Forresters explode. Ridge is furious. Steffi demands action. They all suspect Sheila, but they can't prove it. And Deacon, guilt-stricken, stays silent. He knows Sheila did it. He knows Taylor almost died because of it. But if he tells the truth, Sheila will release the rest of the files, the ones Taylor may not survive, professionally or emotionally. Taylor, in recovery, begins to suspect the truth. She presses Deacon, begging for honesty. She tells him she can handle it, that she deserves to know. But Deacon is stuck, caught between the woman he's starting to care for and the woman who knows how to destroy them both. And then comes the final move. Sheila leaks a photo. It's old, edited, but convincing. It shows Taylor and a former patient embracing. The implication, inappropriate relationship. It doesn't matter that it's fake. The visual alone is enough to reopen investigations, tank her credibility, and possibly revoke her license permanently. The damage is done. Taylor is forced into full suspension. Her practice is shut down pending a board review. The Forresters rally around her, but even their power can't erase the public stain. Ridge, torn between rage and helplessness, promises revenge. Deacon finally confesses to him what he knows, what he suspected, how Sheila manipulated everything. Ridge attacks him, blames him, calls him weak, and he's not wrong. Sheila watches it all unfold, satisfied. She's torn apart Taylor. She's pushed Deacon to the brink, and she's reasserted herself as the one force no one can outplay. But her victory may not be complete. Because Taylor bruised, but not broken, isn't done. She begins to rebuild, quietly, carefully. She hires her own investigator. She retraces every attack. She collects evidence. She reaches out to victims who've dealt with Sheila before. She builds a case. And with Deacon's eventual cooperation after weeks of torment and regret, she starts to piece together the truth. The war isn't over. But Sheila has made a fatal mistake. She underestimated what a woman like Taylor becomes after being pushed to the edge. Not a victim, not a client, a force of reckoning. And November isn't the end. It's just the first blow. In the unpredictable and high-stakes world of the bold and the beautiful, the month of November pushes Deacon Sharp to a breaking point where every choice holds weight. Every step threatens to undo progress, and the shadow of his past looms larger than ever. It's no longer just about redemption, it's survival, reinvention, and the brutal test of whether a man with a dark history can truly start over, or if he's destined to fall again. With his life teetering between a better future and total ruin, Deacon reaches for the one thing he never thought he'd ask for, a second chance at legitimacy. It starts with hope literally and figuratively. Hope Logan, his daughter, and one of the few people who genuinely believes in his potential to change, becomes his bridge to a better life. After months of trying to stay clean, running El Giardino, and distancing himself from chaos, Deacon takes a bold step forward. He asks Hope to help him secure a position at Forrester Creations. It's not a favor. It's a request grounded in genuine effort. He wants structure. He wants to prove that he's more than his mistakes. And Hope, always trying to see the best in people, especially her father, decides to help. After a tense discussion with Ridge and Brooke, both of whom are predictably hostile, Hope manages to convince Steffi to give Deacon a trial role in logistics. It's low profile, low risk. He won't be designing or representing the company, but he'll be part of it. A desk, a nameplate, a second chance. For Deacon, it means everything. A legitimate job, a chance to stand tall in front of his daughter, a symbol of the man he's trying to become. But second chances come with enemies, and no enemy burns hotter than Sheila Carter. Sheila sees the move for what it is, a threat. Deacon with a stable job means Deacon with stability. Stability means distance. Distance means she loses her grip. And Sheila doesn't lose. She watches as Deacon walks into the Forrester building with new purpose. She sees the smile he gives Hope, the way Taylor looks at him with cautious admiration. And just like that, she makes a decision. If Deacon won't come back to her willingly, she drag him back in chains. She starts with whispers, carefully planted rumors to the right people. Security guards, cleaning crew, assistants, stories about Deacon's connections with known criminals, vague innuendos about money laundering at Il Giardino, falsified stories of overheard conversations that make Deacon seem dangerous, unstable, disloyal. Nothing specific, nothing traceable, just enough to spark concern. Then she moves on to documentation. A forged complaint from a former employee at the restaurant accusing Deacon of harassment. A doctored video blurry and poorly lit showing Deacon in what appears to be a heated exchange behind the restaurant. It's not real. It's not accurate. But it's enough. HR flags it. Ridge seizes the excuse to act. And just like that, Deacon is called into a meeting and told his contract is being terminated, effective immediately. No formal charges. No criminal implications. Just company image concerns and unresolved issues. Deacon is blindsided. He doesn't even get a chance to explain. Hope is devastated. She fights for him, but the damage has already been done. Steffi, though hesitant at first, sides with Ridge. Brooke never trusted him to begin with. Even Carter, who once offered legal advice, tells him to lay low. The Forrester brand cannot risk any association with controversy, no matter how flimsy the source. Deacon walks out of the Forrester offices with nothing but a cardboard box and the crushing weight of disappointment on his shoulders. But it's not the job he's mourning, it's the betrayal. He knows Sheila is behind it. No one else would go to such lengths to sabotage him just as he was starting to make progress. He gave her a chance, once. He thought maybe, just maybe, she could change too. But he was wrong, and now she's tearing down everything he's built again. What comes next is the crossroads. He could fold, let the smear campaign crush him, retreat into bitterness, into the old Deacon who drank away his guilt, who lashed out at the world that never forgave him. Or he could rise, not just for himself, but for Hope, for the version of himself he promised her he'd become, for the man he told Taylor he was trying to be. So he fights. He starts by confronting Sheila face to face, alone. No cops, no cameras, just raw confrontation. He storms into her hideout, furious, shaking with rage, demanding to know why she did it. Sheila plays coy at first, then cruel. She calls him a traitor, a hypocrite. She says he was never going to be accepted by the Forresters, that he's fooling himself trying to play their game, that they'll never see him as anything more than trash. She tells him the truth, or at least her version of it, that what she did was mercy, that she saved him from humiliation, that deep down he's just like her. But Deacon isn't buying it. Not anymore. He tells her point blank that whatever they had is dead, that if she ever comes near Hope again, he will take her down no matter what it costs him. Sheila, unfazed, warns him that threats go both ways, that if he wants a war, she's more than ready. The encounter shakes him, but it also hardens him. Deacon knows now that he has no allies in the power circle, no protection. If he wants his name cleared, he'll have to do it himself. He starts retracing Sheila's steps. He finds the former employee who supposedly filed the complaint and learns that the man doesn't exist. He pulls security footage from El Giardino and proves that the night of the alleged incident, he was nowhere near where the forged video claimed. He tracks the origin of the email that sparked the internal HR review and discovers it was sent from a burner address registered under a name connected to Sheila's past aliases. Piece by piece, he builds his case. But even with proof, redemption isn't automatic. The Forrester board refuses to rehire him, citing long-term brand impact. Hope remains supportive but tied up in her own drama. Ridge wants him gone permanently. The media has already moved on to the next scandal. Taylor, caught between loyalty to Ridge and her growing respect for Deacon, starts to distance herself, unsure of how deep she should get involved. And that's when Deacon makes the hardest move yet. He goes public. He gives an exclusive interview, not a defensive rant, but a calculated confession. He owns his past, his failures, his prison time, his mistakes as a father, a partner, a man. But then he lays out the truth. He tried to build a new life. He got sabotaged. He names no names, but the implication is clear. He drops enough breadcrumbs to point fingers without triggering legal retaliation. And he ends with a simple message to his daughter, to his enemies, to himself. I'm not the man I was, and I won't let anyone drag me back there again. The interview goes viral. Public opinion shifts not overnight, but noticeably. He becomes a symbol of the fallen man trying to rise. His following grows. El Giardino sees a spike in business. Former critics become curious supporters. Even Brooke, watching the interview alone at home, seems conflicted. Taylor, too, watches in silence, perhaps realizing that maybe Deacon has changed. Sheila, watching from the shadows, seeds. Her plan failed, and worse, it backfired. She didn't bury Deacon, she reignited him. And now he's more determined, more visible, more dangerous to her plans than ever. But Sheila isn't finished, and neither is Deacon. The battle isn't over. The job at Forrester is lost. The bridges may still be burned, but Deacon Sharp has made a decision. He won't be dragged back. Not by Sheila. Not by the Forresters. Not even by his own past. He's walking forward. Alone, maybe, but this time on his own terms. And the bold and the beautiful just became more dangerous than ever.
Oh,